But first this morning, we begin with breaking news. Israel says the ceasefire with Hezbollah has been violated. Reuters reports Israeli tanks hit areas in southern Lebanon after saying suspects arrived near the border. NewsNation's Elina Shirazi is live in the White House. Elina, the ceasefire was only about 24 hours old, and you mentioned yesterday that one of the important details would be to see how long that ceasefire would last.
Yeah, exactly. Woke up this morning and we got the news that a little bit of pushback here. So, Nick, tension, of course, once again rising to your point after the Israeli military says Hezbollah violated that ceasefire. And according to Reuters, the IDF is claiming suspects, some in cars, approached some restricted areas in southern Lebanon, prompting them to fire on them. Lebanese security sources say Israeli tank fire has hit at least 6 areas within that border strip. So as the ceasefire was put in place Wednesday, Israel's military spokesperson said that any violation of the ceasefire agreement with Hezbollah will be met with fire. Looks like they returned on that promise. There had already been reports of firing in that same exact area since the ceasefire went into effect. And Israel's chief of the general staff, Herzi Halevi, said its military would be prepared in case this deal didn't hold. Of course, President Biden has plans for this 60-day ceasefire to be permanent. So let's recap this deal, Nick. We talked about this yesterday. It is supposed to allow hundreds of thousands of people from both sides of this to go back home. We are already seeing videos of celebrations and families welcoming their loved ones home, some of them waving Hezbollah flags, running away from mountains of rubble from the destruction that was left there. And during the 60 days, the Lebanese army is supposed to take control of the southern part of the country as Israel pulls its troops out of the region. You know, the IDF has warned people, those evacuated from Lebanese towns and villages, not to return home just yet. Israel's prime minister saying the truce would allow Israel to focus on Iran and Hamas. But as I mentioned last hour, it looks like the focus is still also on Hezbollah.
Elina, quick question. Speaking of Hamas, is there any indication they will come to the negotiation table?
Yeah, Nick, they have signaled that they are willing to come to the negotiation table. But this morning, we're learning that Israel has resumed bombing in Gaza. Those strikes are reportedly killing 17 people there. That's new information. We know President Biden says he will make another push with Turkey, another push with Egypt, Qatar, and Israel to get a ceasefire done soon. So here is where they both stand with their demands for some perspective here, if this can even move forward. Israel wants to eliminate Hamas, return their hostages, have Israeli troops maintain a permanent presence in Gaza, and keep control of the Gaza-Egypt border. Hamas, on the other hand, they want a lasting ceasefire for Israel to fully withdraw from Gaza and have them release Palestinian prisoners. So you can see, Nick, there could be a middle ground here with the return of the hostages on both sides, as we have seen in the past, for a lasting ceasefire. But still some things they just don't see eye to eye on, Nick.
Elina, it's clear that this is still a developing story. Thank you, Elina Shirazi.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.